Yeah, well, first, my goal for this year is to do whatever I can, quite simply, to help this franchise and organization succeed at a high level and win games. For me, I just got to start from somewhere and just grow each and every day to be the best player that I can possibly be for my teammates and for my coaches.
The Denver Broncos are one of the more interesting teams in the league after their offseason getting rid of Russell Wilson and drafting Bo Nix to be the new franchise quarterback for this rebuild. And we have gotten our first impression of him in Broncos minicamp, and there have been some conflicting reports we will get into. Some insiders saying that Jarrett Stidham has been by far the best quarterback, while another report is saying Bo Nix has actually been really impressive so far. My job in this video is to show you the evidence and allow you to make your own judgment on what you see so far. The first clip I want to show is Bo Nix getting outside of the pocket, and it looks like on just a warm-up drill. On the move, fires a strike to the right sideline to Michael Bandy. The Broncos wide receiver core is pretty deep. It has a good mix of young players and then also a few veterans. Michael Bandy, not sure he has a great chance to make the team. We did see Bo Nix connect with Devon Vele, the 7th round pick for the Broncos this year, in the corner of the end zone. Josh Reynolds, one of the few acquisitions the Broncos made in free agency, was a recipient of a Bo Nix pass. I think the one every Broncos fan really wanted to see was Courtland Sutton and Bo Nix connecting, and although Sutton did almost drop the pass, he did secure it. But I think the favorite clip I saw was Nix going deep to his longtime college teammate in Troy Franklin. In my opinion, it was pretty crazy that Franklin was available in the 4th round. I remember early in the draft process, people were talking about him as a fringe 1st round pick, maybe an early 2nd rounder, and the fact that the Broncos got him in day number 3 and they're going to reconnect him with his college quarterback, I think is a fantastic storyline. Nix threw 43 touchdowns last year and 14 of them were to Troy Franklin, and what he's going to provide to the Broncos offense is just a great deep threat. His speed and an ability to stack defenders down the field is pretty special, and with another speedster who the Broncos drafted last year in Marvin Mims Jr., that's a fairly good duo of young deep threats for an offense. But outside of some of these clips that we've seen on social media, some players and coaches have already come out and shared some positive thoughts about Nix. Broncos offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi said there's a maturity level. I think when you draft a guy who is a little bit older, you hope that he comes with it, but he's certainly shown that. You can feel his 61 games played in college. With experience, a calmness comes along with it, so he certainly doesn't feel like a rookie. Offensive guard Quinn Miners echoed a similar thought process. With his sense of maturity, it almost feels like he's been here before. Sean Payton said the two new guys, both Zach and Bo, had a lot of install in a short period of time. Realistically, in the season, you spend a week on one plan. Here, we are moving. Overall, though, it's what we saw and what we evaluated with Nix, and that is encouraging. And Payton went on to say so much of it is huddle, snap count, break the huddle, under center, shotgun. It's a process. He's handling the install well. He had a pretty good practice today. He's grinding through it. He's doing good with it. He continued and said he had 2 or 3 down the field throws Saturday. It's almost like watching a good golfer when you watch his game. There's a patience to how he plays. The ball comes out. But a story written by Mike Cleese says that Stidham has a strong hold of the Broncos starting quarterback position. And personally, I do not know about Cleese and his work and if he is a reputable source for the Broncos and their team. But he wrote an article last week and said Stidham, he hasn't moped about becoming crowded with hotshot newcomers. He bowed his neck and competed. To almost all media observers, Stidham was the best of the 3 quarterbacks, with Nix also mostly promising during the offseason practice sessions. But then a few days after that on ESPN, Jeremy Fowler said on SportsCenter, I'm told that Bo Nix has really impressed. Just beyond the normal talk about rookies coming along and playing well, I'm told that around traffic in the pocket with defensive linemen flying around him, he's delivered the ball calmly and accurately. I'm told that he has stood out to the Broncos and he has shown a lot of maturity. Those 61 collegiate starts have shown up. So this is a long quarterback battle. Stidham involved Wilson, but Nix has made an early compelling case. We'll see if he can ride that momentum going into late July, early August. Good sign so far. From everything that I've researched and all the clips that I have seen, I think the truth between these 2 reports lies somewhere in the middle. It does seem like Nix has come out and looked better than your normal rookie, and that's kind of expected due to his age and experience at the college level, and he has shown pretty much everything that he did at college. He's been very accurate in the short to intermediate range, has not turned the ball over very much, but also does not throw the ball down the field a ton. He's been very vocal and has been able to grasp the offense and the play calls fairly well, and I do think Stidham has a massive advantage over Nix because this is his 2nd year in Sean Payton's offense, so he is used to the playbook, the verbiage, also just chemistry with some of the wide receivers on the team. If I was a Broncos fan, I would not look into it too much that Stidham has been performing as the best quarterback allegedly. That's expected from a 5th-year quarterback who's in his 2nd year in the offense, and I think the gap between minicamp and training camp will help Nix catch up, at least in terms of just knowing the offense, and I think ultimately Bo Nix will be the week number 1 starter. I already stated his experience a little bit at the collegiate level. I don't think Nix is your normal rookie quarterback. Most rookie quarterbacks enter the NFL at 22 years old, have only started a couple years in college. Nix has 5 full years of experience, and Denver selected him with the 12th overall pick in the draft. So in my opinion, when you combine all of those factors, where he was drafted, his experience level, and the fact that Sean Payton and the Broncos organization just moved off of Russell Wilson and his large contract, I think they have a lot of incentives to start their new rookie quarterback from week number 1 and just see what they have. And I expect as we get further into training camp and ramp up towards the beginning of the NFL season, that Nix will be named as the starting quarterback. And I do think we could see Nix have some success as a rookie this season. The infrastructure the Broncos have on offense, I do think it's a little bit understated. I mean, there aren't all pros all across the unit, but there are a ton of really solid and proven veteran players. For example, the offensive line, I love the tackle duo of Garrett Bowles and Mike McGlinchey. They paid McGlinchey a ton of money last offseason, and he actually had a fairly good year last year. And then the interior of the offensive line, I love Quinn Miners, and Ben Powers is a solid guard as well. They did lose Lloyd Cushenberry, their center, in free agency, and I do think they downgraded in that position. They signed Sam Mustipher as the replacement. Entering his 5th season, he started 2 seasons for the Bears and then 2 games for the Baltimore Ravens last year. But overall, I do think the offensive line will be an above average unit next season. I think the running back unit is solid as well, with Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine, and Jaleel McLaughlin. They also drafted a short yardage running back in Audric Estime from Notre Dame in the 5th round. So Williams will be the lead back, but I think the rest of the guys can find a role on the team. The receiving core, I said it was deep, but let me go through the names. Cortland Sutton, Josh Reynolds, Marvin Mims, Tim Patrick, Troy Franklin, LaJordan Humphrey, and Brandon Johnson. You got your ex-wide receiver and one of the best contested catchers in football in Sutton. You've got your speedsters and Franklin and Mims. Your intermediate in the middle of the field target in Josh Reynolds. And we haven't seen Tim Patrick since 2021, but if he can finally stay healthy this year, I think he could be a very nice contributor as well. And then the 2 tight ends for the team is Adam Trotman and Greg Dulich. I really do like Dulich's game. He's just been unable to stay healthy in his career. So when you go player for player on the Broncos offense, I do think they have a pretty good infrastructure for Bo Nix to step in right away and be successful. You add in Sean Payton, who I think is still one of the best offensive minds in the league. And I know some people are down on Payton and don't think he's a great coach anymore and he's a Drew Brees merchant. Honestly, just don't listen to those people. They don't really know what they're talking about. Payton made Russell Wilson into a functional quarterback last year for the first time in 3 years. And in his first year, he got the Broncos to 8 wins and almost into the playoffs when nobody thought they were going to be anywhere close to that. So yes, I do think Sean Payton is still an elite coach, and he's a big part of the reason why I'm optimistic of Bo Nix having some success early on in his career. But in terms of team success next season, I don't know how good the Denver Broncos are going to be. The AFC West is just a gauntlet of a division now. The Kansas City Chiefs, back-to-back Super Bowl champions, going for their 3rd title in a row. The Los Angeles Chargers, I expect them to be a lot better now with Jim Harbaugh coming down from Michigan. And the Las Vegas Raiders are always a gritty team. They have a lot of star players all across the roster. So it would not surprise me to see the Broncos coming 4th in this division next year. And I know Bronco fans do not want to hear that, but you have to realize that you are entering the first year of this rebuild, and you got rid of a lot of your key contributors from last season in Justin Simmons and Jerry Jeudy and Josie Jewell. And due to the Russell Wilson trade and contract, there wasn't a ton of capital in terms of cap space and draft picks to really plug all of those holes in just one off season. So I don't think the expectation should be entirely high next season. I really think next season is just about seeing some flashes out of Bo Nix and gain some confidence that he is going to be the team's franchise quarterback. But if that happens and Denver ends up with a top 5 pick, I still think I would consider it a successful season for the Broncos. But I want to know what you think about Bo Nix and what you expect from him in 2024. Do you think he should start week number 1, or do you think Zach Wilson or Jarrett Stidham should get the nod for the first few weeks of the season? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. But subscribe to the channel if you are new. Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next one.